Hi everyone, Mira Raven, and welcome to Magifest 5D. I am here to bring you to your highest timeline. So today, I'm super excited for this video. I had something come through me recently, a thought, and it was, you are never too much for just the right person. Or you are never too much for the right person. So when you are highly sensitive, gifted, you tend to experience the world differently than most people. And I think that, giftedness is something that it's got a lot of controversy around it because people feel like if you say you're gifted, and also people who are gifted don't like using that word because it implies to some people that, oh, you think you're better than other people or that you're special or whatever, right? And we're all special and we're all unique and we all have our own way that we think about and process information. But I do think that giftedness is a thing. I do believe that giftedness exists. And I know this because I am, I guess, what you would call gifted. And even for me, I have a hard time even saying like I'm gifted because it's just, I don't know. It's just, I think for most gifted people, most of us, and again, if you are gifted and you are watching this, I really would love to hear your experience and what you feel about giftedness and whatnot. But I know for me, I only recently started like accepting that I was gifted. And accepting, for me, giftedness is not about, oh, I'm special, I'm super smart, or I'm super this, or I'm super talented, or, it's more about my brain processes things. My brain processes things differently. I think differently. I experience the world differently. And I think that's the most important part to recognize in terms of giftedness, is like recognizing that you actually do think differently. You do experience the world differently. Your brain does work differently than other people. You may have a different reality than other people. And I think we all, to an extent, will have a different reality, right? Based off of our beliefs, our perceptions, whatnot. But there are certain traits associated with gifted individuals and highly sensitive individuals. So I am somebody who is highly sensitive and I'm gifted and I'm an empath. And so there's a lot going on for me. And so I want to go back to what I said with, for the right person, you're never too much. Because I think that when you are gifted, when you are highly sensitive, you might come across to other people as too much, right? And most of that has to do with, and I have to create a whole other video on giftedness and the traits of giftedness and, this book that I was reading called The Gifted Adult. Which I'd love to maybe do a whole video on that whole thing, because that book was really, really pivotal for me in my own identity journey. But one thing I will say about giftedness is a lot of times gifted individuals have overexcitabilities in certain areas. They have particular sensitivities, and they can be extremely driven, right? So they have complexity and drive, and more so than other individuals or your typical individual. And so because of that drive, they we'll go and go and go and go and go, and we'll like go after something. And I know I've experienced this myself, where it's like people look at all the different things that I do and they're like, how do you do all that? How are you not like crazy, like doing all that stuff? And it's because I have such a strong drive, and I have such a strong overexcitability for curiosity, right? So I have an intellectual overexcitability. So for me, that's just an example of a type of overexcitability you can have if you're gifted. But for me, what that means is I am obsessed with learning how things work, taking things apart, figuring out how things work. And that overexcitability leads me to constantly be seeking out information, constantly be learning, constantly be growing, constantly be asking questions. And this drive that I have is a blessing and a curse, right? It's a blessing in the sense that I have lots of ideas. My ideas are never ending. My thoughts are never ending. But it can be a curse in the sense that it's hard to turn it off. It's hard to turn off my curiosity at times, right? And for other people, it can be a lot, because sometimes when I'm talking to people in conversation, I will go on a tangent, not because I don't want to hear the other person. No, that's not why. It's literally just because my brain is like having a field day with all this information and the perspectives, and I can look at it this way and that way, and I'm so curious. I'm like, what about this, or what about that? Well, maybe it could be this, and it could be that, and well, it could go that way, and well, what about this, right? And so when your brain thinks like that, it's a little overwhelming, and you can try to reel it in, which I usually do, try to reel it in, but it's definitely a full-time job to keep up with your brain, especially when you're curious. And again, if anybody is in the comments right now and you are gifted, or even if you're not gifted, whatever, even if you're just somebody who you think a lot and you are curious and you're cerebral and you like to learn, definitely holler at me in the comments. If you're highly sensitive, holler at me in the comments. I want to find my people, you know what I mean? And even if you're not highly sensitive, or if you're not gifted, that doesn't matter. I think it's good to learn how different people's brains work and understand how they work. Like, I just think it's fun and interesting. So that being said, I've had a lot of experiences, and again, if you are similar, let me know in the comments. I love to hear what other people are experiencing. But for me, my experience has been that because I am so intense, because I am so passionate, because I am so driven, that can on one hand make people intimidated, because they project their insecurities and think that I think that I'm better than them, which is not the case at all. But because I'm just going and doing, they kind of are like, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Why are you doing so much? Why do you have to do everything? Why are you in it? Maybe they even think that I'm showing off, right? But it's like, no, I'm not showing off. I love to be stimulated, and I want to do everything and try everything. And why are you playing 5 instruments? Well, because I don't know, it's exciting, it's fun. Like, I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm not trying to prove like, oh, I need to play 5 instruments so that everybody thinks that I'm amazing. It's like, no, I want to play 5 instruments because why not? I don't know, it was fun. It's fun to explore, right? And that's literally why I do it. But I think some people might think that I do it because I'm trying to prove something, or I'm trying to be better than other people. And it's like, no, that's actually not what's driving me. What's driving me is my curiosity. And so again, if you're in the comments and you are similar to me, then I'd love to hear from you, because like I said, I see you. I see you. All the people that feel the way that I do, right? And it doesn't have to be instruments. It could be, it could be visual art. It could be history. It could be psychology. It could be reading every single Freud book and every single Jung book, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that there's going to be people in life that, especially if you are a gifted or highly sensitive person, there are people in your life that just, they don't understand and they don't want to understand. And it's not because they're a bad person. It's just certain people have certain things that they're bringing to the table of their experience, their reality, and they are overwhelmed by that, and that's enough for them. And they're not interested in taking on all the things that you're taking on, and they may not have the capacity or the bandwidth to do so. It doesn't mean that doesn't mean they're less than. It's just what they're working with. It's just what they're working with up here. And sometimes it's even just conditionally too, just how their brain is conditioned. You know, I think that everybody has the possibility to have never-ending curiosity if they tap into it, but most people are just not wired that way, so they don't. So they just are fine with the very simple, concise answer. They're very, very pleased with putting things in boxes and having everything neatly defined and organized, intellectually. But for me, I live in the gray area. I live in the neutral zone. I'm kind of like, let's look at all the possibilities. So I think I want my gifted and highly sensitive lovelies, I want you all to stop apologizing for your sensitivity. Stop apologizing for your complexity. Stop apologizing for your drive. Stop apologizing for the way that your brain works. Don't let the world paint you into a corner. Don't let the world tell you that you're too much. Because if you're too much, that means that they must not be not enough. And what I mean by that, I should clarify, is not that they're not good enough. I just mean, if they're going to say that you're too much, then I guess that means that they're not enough. Which one is it? Are you not enough for me? Or am I too much for you? Because if I'm too much for you, that means you're not enough for me. But the reality is, for me, I don't need somebody to be enough for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with if people are not doing what I'm doing or thinking the way I'm thinking. I'm okay with that. I accept that most people are not going to be enough for me in that way. They're not going to feed me intellectually in the way that maybe I would love to experience, because not everybody can intellectually spar the way that I want to. But I'm okay with that, and I don't need everybody to intellectually spar with me, and I can still have conversations with people no matter what their perspective is, and I still enjoy it. And I think that's really important for gifted and highly sensitive people, is to realize that not everybody is going to think the way that you do or see the world that you do, and that's okay. And you can still have fun and experience their perspective. And then on the other side, for those people who are not highly sensitive, or maybe not necessarily, they don't think in the way that a gifted person would, and maybe perhaps you could even say maybe neurotypical, because some people would argue that gifted individuals are neurodivergent. And that's a whole other video too, and a discussion to get into. But I think that for those who are, we'll just say neurotypical, as sort of a blanket term, like, realize and just recognize that just because somebody is really passionate and excited and has a lot to say, that doesn't mean that they don't care about what you're saying. It doesn't mean that that person only wants to talk about themselves or something. I think there's always a misunderstanding with that. At least I've experienced that, where people have thought that I don't care about what they're saying. And it's not that. It's just my brain works in a certain way, and it just keeps going. So I think for people who are not highly sensitive, who are not necessarily gifted, and sort of have sort of the typical neurotypical brain and thought patterns. Just recognize that, just be open. Try to be open if you can. Because if you can be open to the fact that other people think differently and experience the world differently, and if you can have just a little bit more curiosity for those people, your world might open up. You might learn something new from them, and they can also learn from you. And often they probably are. If they're anything like me, I'm always trying to learn from everybody. So I'm always learning from all different types of people, all different ages, all walks of life. I'm just always learning. And so they want to learn from you. And if you can show some curiosity to want to learn from them, then that's going to make them feel so seen and so heard. Because I think so many, again, I can't speak for all gifted people, but I know for me, I feel a bit isolated at times because there's just so many things that I'd love to talk to people about. And I don't always get to do that because, again, some people just don't have the bandwidth to go deep like that, and have deep discussions and deep conversations. So let me talk about some things that can be helpful in terms of finding and discerning those types of people, the types of people that you need to be around. And I think it's really just simple in terms of discerning those people, noticing how do people respond to you when you're just being yourself. Like, one thing I noticed for me is that I used to apologize all the time, and I'd be hyper vigilant about my own speech patterns and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm talking too much. I need to because I had been told so many times by so many people that I talk too much, and it became a thing. So I was just hyper vigilant and very apologetic about, oh, well, okay, I'll stop talking now. Sorry about that, and I realized that when I was around the right people, certain people, I would apologize. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm talking so much. And they'd be like, you're fine. And my favorite response that I loved, that was just so validating to me, was, what are you talking about? I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying listening to you. I'm enjoying hearing how your brain works. That's what you want to look for. You want to look for the people that say that, because for some people, not everybody can handle it, but the people that can, they're like, wow, oh, cool. They're totally with you. And then the people that some of the best people are the people that can go back and forth with you. Like, I had a conversation with somebody one time, and I was so into it, and I was talking about, I don't remember what we were talking about, but we were talking about something, and we were really into it, and I was getting super passionate, and then that person would pick up what I said, and they ran with it, and they were super passionate, and we were just going back and forth, and we were literally intellectually sparring, and I was having so much fun, and my brain was so excited. So today, I guess I'm really getting into the whole gifted HSP thing. So when you experience that, know that is your person, right? And I don't mean necessarily romantically, it could be, but also just a person that's in your corner, right? And then for the people who tell you you're too much, the people that, say you talk too much, and the people that this and the people that, just take it in, take a deep breath, and be like, okay, noted. Got it. Okay, I'm too much for you. Cool. Great. Have a great day. All the best to you. Right? And again, it doesn't mean that you can't be friends with them, but it's just you just realize with some people, you maybe only talk about the small talk. You really just maybe keep it simple, right? You just kind of adjust as necessary and just say, this is not a person that I can go on a tangent with. This is not a person that I can intellectually spar with. Okay, great, noted. And that way, you save yourself from the burden of feeling like you are a burden, because you're not a burden. You're not. You're not a burden. Yes, you think differently. Yes, you feel the world deeply. Deeply. But remember, we need you. We need you. Humanity needs you. And we learn from you and we grow from you. And you have so many wonderful things to share. And we all benefit from your existence. So just remember that. And you are enough the way you are. Don't let anyone let you think for one moment that you need to prove yourself, that you need to do more, that you need to top yourself or outdo yourself in order to prove how good you are. No, none of that. But continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to stay curious. And for my HSPs, take care of yourselves. Baby yourself. It's okay to baby yourself. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to feel deeply. You don't have to numb yourself. But also don't let your feelings drive the bus completely, right? Like, your feelings have their place, but they're not everything, right? Your sensory experience is there to show you something about yourself, about your consciousness. And it's just an experience, and enjoy it. Feel all the feels, right? Go through all the feelings and the emotions. Go through all the sensory experiences and enjoy it. Find pleasure in the journey of understanding yourself as a highly sensitive being. I know I went over my normal time for these videos, but I guess I got myself a little carried away. But I'm gonna make another video going into more depth on giftedness, going into more depth on high sensitivity. This was a lot of a tangent. A lot of a tangent. Yeah, it was a big tangent. But I'm not gonna edit it. I'm not editing this, you guys, because this is my rule that I've made for myself for these videos. I'm not editing them. I'm not. And it's not because I'm lazy. It's like a dedication to just being super authentic and just treating this like it's a conversation. Like we're sitting, look, see? I'm sitting at the table with you and we're talking. That's what this is. We're having a conversation. This isn't TV. This is, I'm a real person, you're a real person, we're having a conversation. We're connecting. And I see you. And I know you've gone through a lot. And I know you have so much that you've yet to do. That's on the precipice of your journey. And I just want to be here to encourage you and to remind you that you are light, that you are love, that you are expansive, and you can be everything that you want to be. You can, might be one moment at a time that you go through those things, but you can embrace all the things in life that you want to. And don't let anyone tell you that you're too much. So if that was helpful to you, and if you like my style, then you should definitely consider getting a coaching call with me. I am hosting a cohort session, and it will probably be opening up sometime in the spring. I haven't quite figured out because I'm in the process of moving, so I'm not quite sure if I'll be moving in March or April or May, So that's why I haven't put an exact time on it, but I know sometime in the spring is when I'm going to start this cohort program. It's all ready to go. I just want to get all the people, go off with a bang. So if you would like to get a one-on-one discovery call with me, I am offering 5 free spots for my cohort session for Find Your Authentic Voice. It's an 8-week cohort session, and there's going to be a workbook. There'll be weekly calls with me, as well as accountability check-ins. And really, Find Your Authentic Voice is about really kind of stripping away the BS and your conditioning and kind of like reprogramming. Essentially, it's reprogramming yourself, but you're reprogramming yourself with the information and the programming that you want. Like, I'm not here to reprogramming you into what I think you should be. It's not about that at all. It's about your voice. It's about you and what your journey is and what your values are, and you reprogramming yourself. And I'm just helping you, guiding you through that process. So I want to be very clear about that. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I've got 5 free spots. So it is an 8-week program. It's completely free, okay? And the first 5 people that sign up for this program will get it for free. After that, the next 5 spots are half off. And after that, any spots that are left will be full price. So definitely, if you've connected with me, watch some of my other videos. I'm trying to get videos out every week. So check those out to see if you really like me, my energy, my vibe. If you love my vibe, my energy, then go ahead and get yourself a discovery call. I'd love to connect with you. I really want to help people reach their highest timeline. So thank you guys so much for watching, if you watched this far through, and I will see you next time. Peace, everyone.